Okay, hi everyone. I'm Claudia, or hi to whoever's watching this. I'm just going over my project, which is the innovation of self-driving cars. I hope you can see my screen right now, but I'm gonna get started. I also kind of don't have a voice, so I'm sorry ahead of time. Okay, so first off, actually, let me put this in preview. Okay. So first off, when you first go to my website, um, you'll see right here, this is like the kind of like the label self-driving cars. And then this is like the title page, I guess the homepage title. And here's my name. All right. So I kind of just went into like what self-driving cars are and like kind of like the whole point slash purpose of a self-driving car. It's obviously to just make sure like you get safe to your location or destination, and for people who physically cannot drive or sit behind the wheel, this is also a solution. Also, self driving cars are made to hopefully reduce the amount of accidents, because a lot of car accidents are actually caused by human error. And this way, cars will be more controlled by computers. So, yeah, and then I just kind of went again into what my innovation was, which was what I just said, self driving car. And yeah, then this is kind of more where all the information is, on the impact slide. So, there's obviously some benefits and not so much a benefit to self-driving cars. I kind of just went over the benefits, but a main benefit is to make sure like you get to point A to B safely, effortlessly, just to make sure you get there and you don't have to drive. You just sit there and go. Some of the harmful effects on this innovation is that taxi drivers, Uber drivers, anyone that has a job behind the wheel could potentially lose their job, because if cars are just driving themselves, then we don't need taxis and Ubers. Right here, I included a video from Clemson University, and it kind of Clemson just kind of says like what they think about self-driving cars and are they safe. It definitely kind of touches on all the ideas of if a self-driving car is safe or not. As far as society, economy, and culture, obviously self-driving cars have opened up a new way of travel for us. So for society, people are kind of talking about that, looking into it. Um, for the economy, it's very beneficial because it's more efficient and makes sure you get to your places quicker and more direct, less accidents, less money going into repairs for any car crashes. And then as far as culture, I'm trying to see where I touched on this. Oh, as far as culture, not everyone's familiar with this. This is definitely like a newer generation idea, and not everyone would be open to getting into a car that drives itself. Down below, I included two graphs. The one on the left is self-driving cars still cause concern for pedestrians. So kind of right here, like says the age groups and how concerned they are about a self-driving car. I was a little surprised that there wasn't more like very safe votes for the 18 to 24 range, because I feel like a self-driving car is a lot for like the younger generation, like my generation, and I'm surprised that 25 to 34 and 45 to 54 said they were the two groups that said it's the most safe. Obviously 55 plus said most unsafe, very unsafe, but I think we could all understand why, because again, this isn't really like true to their generation. Everything was just you did it on your own. Then for the graph on the right, young people ready to take both hands off the wheel. 14 through 17 was the most ready. Again, not surprised. It's the younger generation. Some of like 14 to 17, some don't even have their license. So I'm sure hearing about self-driven car is honestly pretty cool to some. 55 plus again doesn't think it's safe, or they're not ready to try it out, which again makes sense. And then under here, I kind of just explained what I just said. Here I have my form. So this is about self-driving cars. Would you get into a self-driven car? Would you purchase a self-driven car? Do you think self-driven vehicles are safe? Do you think self-driven cars will be the new future? And do you think there will be less car accidents with self-driven cars? Um, yeah, so feel free to fill that out. Here I have a little brochure. Self-driving cars. Self-driving cars are a new way of transportation. Being able to get to points A and B without having to drive yourself is the new way of driving. There's some positive impacts: fewer car accidents, smart technology, good for elderly or disabled drivers, allows users to gain new information. Self-driven cars allows us to keep ourselves safe, but others too. Then there's another graph of how the votes for self-driven cars are going up. And then this innovation has also impacted, or has the potential to impact, again, the elderly groups. If like they're unable to drive, this could impact them because it could help them again get to point A and B without having to drive, like without them having to physically drive. Also disabled people, just basically anyone who's unable to drive. So yeah. Then for technical aspects, describe how a user interacts with the innovation. This is pretty self-explanatory. You get in the vehicle, you want to go to the grocery store, you put it in the maps, and then it takes you to that destination. So you kind of just like program it to take you where you want to go. For F, the last question, describe in detail how the innovations technology incorporates at least one of the big ideas of abstraction, programming, and or the internet to accomplish its purpose. So kind of what happens is the car is programmed to know when to go on a green light or when to stop on a red light, or it has sensors and cameras around them so they know like if there's a child running around or if there's a dog or if there's an item in the way. So this is all programmed into the car so it like can train itself to understand this, and then hopefully always what's the word? Use it to always use this information to hopefully keep everyone safe. For references, I didn't use that many just because I found the two I used super helpful. I used Wikipedia. Self-driving car was the name, and I put the link right here. And then for the other one, I used the website How Stuff Works, and the name of the article was How Driverless Cars Will Work. So yeah, I also put the link right there. And that is my entire presentation. I do think this was a great presentation, or I'm sorry, I do think this was a great project. I think I learned a lot more about what could be potentially coming up in our future. I think it's important for people to start to research this because I don't think everyone knows how many benefits this does have, not just the luxury of not having to drive, but so much more is involved in a self-driving car. So thank you so much for listening. Bye.